Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and it's Debsy, and pleased to be, it's Debsy. Boop, that's me. Boop, Debsy. Happy Tuesday, everybody, and I hope everybody is having a wonderful week so far and had a great day. I'm fresh from my everything shower, so I washed my hair. As you can tell, my face is always like a little red after I get out of the shower. So here we go. And this little guy right here, he's kind of gone. It's kind of gone a little bit, but it's hanging around because it likes me so much. Okay, so we're gonna get into Bachelor in Paradise. Listen, I was taking diligent notes until I stopped. It was a lot. So rather than go over every single thing that happened and everything that was said, we're gonna kind of do that, but we're gonna kind of not do that after a little while. Okay, so, listen, yeah. Brian's tagline in the beginning is correct. He is Bachelor in Paradise's current drama llama. Things are actually better between him and Prisa, which is surprising after last week. They talked, everything's okay. Okay, Kim sits down and talks to Robot Captain Kim, sits down and talks to Faith and tells him about, listen, in the past, I went and I got my heart checked out. They had me do an EKG. They took another look at it. Everything is fine, but they want me to wear like a heart monitor. And she was shaking a little bit, which tells me that she has like this is a thing. This to me is looking like it really is a thing. It's not just like a friendship. And I kind of like, and I like that. And it's softening him up a little bit more. Okay, so we're coming to the relationship challenge. This is called Secret Rendezvous. This is where they find out if the person that you're with is the person that you're most compatible with. So even though they're your partner here, are they the person that is most compatible for you? Okay, so what's gonna happen is everybody is standing outside this circle, okay? And there's a door behind each of them. And everybody is asked a question, like, when is your favorite time to make love? And you answer the question and your partner answers the question. And whichever couple has the most matches wins. But also if your answer matches with somebody from another couple, then you meet that person in the center and you have a chance to decide, would you like to have a secret rendezvous? So I'm thinking, oh, is this where are Dale and Alicia going to be matching? Let's see. We wonder. So the winning male gets to give out the first rose, but this week he doesn't pick who goes home. That is decided by a vote. One man, and therefore his woman also will be leaving paradise. Okay. So, everybody's answering these questions, and the winner, I would have thought it would have been somebody like Jess and Spencer. It was Jonathan and Leah, the couple that is really not a couple, that's friends. They know each other the best. And listen, Jonathan also lets loose here that his feelings were hurt last week when Leia had said, "You're welcome," at the rose ceremony, which is odd because it didn't seem like they were hurt, because he laughed it off. But maybe just like me, they long to be close to you. No, maybe just like me, he uses, humor to deflect. Also, tonight I am drinking a berry chill refresher. Look at that. Isn't that so like paradise coated? Well, of course it's in my breakfast. It's in my breakfast club glass, but okay. That's delicious. Okay. So the winner is Leah and Jonathan. But who were some of the secret matches? Well, some of the secret matches were Alicia and Andrew, Parisia and Dale, Kathy and Kim, Kathy and Robot Captain Kim. And she was like, no, thank you. Alex and Jeremy, Kat and Brian, Leah and Jeremy, Bailey and Spencer, and Bailey and Brian. There was no Alicia and Dale. That ship has sailed. Oh. So they meet in the center, Brian and Bailey, and all these other couples, they're like, no thank you to any kind of secret rendezvous. So Brian in the confessional, he says he's possibly considering a rendezvous. I think, no, he might say it to her that he's considering a secret rendezvous. And he says off camera, maybe it wouldn't be such a bad idea if Bailey looked elsewhere for love. The producers, of course, on their tagline put, it's a bad idea. Okay. So a little bit later on, Jeremy and Spencer talk. Neither of them are going to be rendezvousing. However, Brian is going to try and rendezvous with Bailey so he can tell her about what Jeremy said about Susie. Like he gave the rose to the wrong woman, and he called Susie. But if it gets out that happened, that he does this, then he's screwed. So they go back to the rooms. Bailey gets a hand-delivered note from Brian saying, we really need to talk. It's a secret rendezvous. Okay, so meanwhile, Kat and Jess and Alex, they're talking, and like, who should we vote out? Well, maybe Kat floats the idea of maybe Kathy and Keith, because they're really just friends. There's nothing more there than friendship. Or maybe Jonathan, because they're just friends and he's really not taking this seriously, like romantically seriously. Well, speaking of which, Leah and Jonathan, they talk. Once again, Jonathan was really hurt by this whole, by this "you're welcome," which once again throws me off because he didn't seem upset. Leah is like, listen, I know that we're friends, but I wish that you would have told me it. And I didn't have to hear it from like someone else. I didn't have to hear it from Kat, which we'll get to that later. Okay, so secret rendezvous. Brian's waiting there by the pool. There's a fire pit, there's champagne. He's drinking he drinks his, he drinks hers. He's looking at the fire pit, he's looking at the fire, he's looking at the moon, he's drinking. He eventually falls asleep. Now listen, I would have been the woman. There was one person there that would have been me. And it was the maid who looked like she was dusting the palm tree. Like she was like, I'm just going to dust off this bark. It needs some pledge. That would have been me, guaranteed. Meanwhile, Bailey is roommates with Parisa. So she's talking to Parisa. She's like, listen, I got a card. I got a note for a secret rendezvous, but she's not saying who it was. And Parisa's like, was it Brian? She's like, I'm not gonna say. Was it Brian? I don't want to say. Was it Brian? I don't want to say. It was Brian. She was like, it was Brian. I can guarantee, once again, that would be me. If I'm thinking that something is, like if that was me and I was like, was that my man? And then they didn't answer. The first time I'd have been like, fuck that. It was my man that sent it. Okay. So Bailey then goes to Jeremy's room and is like, hey, listen, Brian sent me this secret rendezvous note. So I think we should send him home, because they're thinking, is he trying to romantically, get with me? And so they're like, we got to get rid of him. This isn't right. So the next day, Brian, I don't know if it's the next day or the same night, Brian goes to Parisa and is like, listen, I want to tell you, I did send a note to Bailey to get her to rendezvous, but the reason why I did that, it wasn't romantic. I don't have any kind of romantic deets. Like, I don't have any kind of romantic interest in Bailey. I love Bailey, but not that way. And then he tells Parisa everything that Jeremy said. And this is like a huge weight off of Parisa's shoulders, because just like anybody would have been thinking the same thing too. Like a rendezvous, a secret rendezvous, that sounds romantical. like, do you have some kind of romantic romantic plans? Are you planning on dumping me or what? Because listen, I'm not saying that would be a bad idea. Anyways, okay, we're not getting into that. So Spencer and Jess are talking. I feel like the producers maybe saw that people were like, where's Spencer and Jess? And they gave them a little bit of time. They're getting married. Those two are absolutely 100% getting married. And Bailey comes over and tells them, hey, listen, I got this card, a secret rendezvous card. Spencer, it wasn't from you. Spencer's like, yeah, I told Jess about our match. We're not secret rendezvousing. And as soon as she said that, then here comes Brian. Can I talk to you? So they talked. And before they show them talking, Alex is like, she sees Brian talking to Bailey, and she's starting to feel she's conflicted, because she knew about this happening, and she told, much like Spencer knew that this had happened, and they both told Jeremy, listen, you have to tell Bailey about this. You really should tell Bailey about this. But they didn't tell her about it. So now Alex is feeling kind of like is feeling conflicted, and is kind of feeling guilty because she didn't say anything. She didn't say anything to Bailey, which we find out that the reason why she didn't say anything to Bailey was because she had seen like Bailey and Jeremy's relationship getting stronger and getting better, which, to be honest with you, that's shitty, because if that was in the real world, if that happened in the real world to one of your friends, you would say something. I would. So what's the difference between in the real world and in Bachelor in Paradise? I'm going to say this right now. I love Spencer, but I don't like that any of these people that already knew didn't tell Bailey. So, okay, let's get into it. Bailey tells Brian, hey, listen, I told Jeremy about the note because I didn't want him to think that I was stepping out on him or there was something romantic. And I could understand her telling him based on the fact of past history of how he reacted when she went on that date with Andrew and he flipped the fuck out. So I can understand that. But so Bailey's like, listen, I really like I really like Jeremy, but I need to know if something was said. I need to know this. And so Brian is like, did you two talk about his date, his one-on-one date with Susie? No. Well, then Brian puts it out there. Jeremy was expecting Susie to get the rose, was expecting to get the rose, and that he made the mistake of not giving the rose to Susie. During one of his confessionals, he had him and a supervisor, or him and a producer called Susie, and he asked her to come back, and if she was here, then he would propose. Listen, they just met and he's proposing already. You think she's gonna say yes? Susie's too smart for that. Plus, she just met him. And also that he said that once he leaves paradise, he's gonna be hitting Susie up. He's gonna call Susie. But listen, I'm gonna tell you, I felt terrible. My heart broke for Bailey. Bailey was gutted and was just, terrible. Because listen, what if she would have never seen this? She would have never known about this, and then she gets home and she's living this life with Jeremy maybe, and then you see that on TV, and you find out about that out in the real world. That would have been shitty. That would have been absolutely shitty. Now, listen, I feel like this is almost a redemption for Brian. Up until he said this one thing, I was like, well, he's 100% saying this out of the goodness of his heart. When he said something like, half these people knew about this. That's when I was like, wait a minute. Is he doing this as like a strategy? So I'm going to tell you, I am mostly on Brian's side in this episode, and I never thought I would say that. But that one line is the only thing that I didn't like, because if he was totally doing this out of the goodness of his heart, then I don't know that he would have put that out there, is all I'm saying. That to me just seemed like strategy. So he tells her that, and she is just beside herself, crying, and it's terrible. That was so sad. That was the worst. But then a little bit later on, Brian, he's having doubts. Like, he's second guessing himself about whether he should have told Bailey after Alex comes up and says something to him. And then Dale and Andrew mention this. And then Dale and Andrew mention Jeremy calling Susie. Brian, so everybody's kind of piling on him a little bit. And Brian denies telling Bailey. Like, he says, I didn't tell her. And Dale is like, and this was scummy, because Dale was like, good. He said something like, I didn't think you would do that. I thought highly of you, and I don't think I think that's something you would never do. Listen, what the fuck, Dale? I put WTAF, what the actual F, Dale. So hiding shit, stuff that you do from your partner, that's honorable. That's honorable. Kat, get out of that relationship. Also, I'll say it. It's shitty. It's shitty that half these people knew and nobody told her. Nobody had Bailey's back. Nobody thought of Bailey. everybody was thinking about Jeremy. Oh, what bro code? Well, why did you do this? Well, why would you do this why would you do this? Why would you break this bro code? I'm completely 100% with Wells. I thought I was crazy. I thought I was going crazy because all of these people who are her friends didn't say anything. They were expecting Jeremy to say something. And if a guy's going to be able to get away with something, he's going to get away with it. He didn't say nothing. And now everybody's piling up on Brian. Typically, I'm not a Brian fan, okay? But he was the only one that went to her and said something. And now everybody is piling on him because of possibly what he did. I think he did the right thing. You know, I love Spencer, but I mean, he could have told her. Any one of these people could have told her. And Kat, listen, and Kat's all up in arms about it. But Kat, listen, just earlier, I had mentioned about how Kat last episode had gone to Leia and told her about what Jonathan said. So why can you go and you can say something to Leia, but you can't tell Bailey what Jeremy had said? That doesn't make any sense to me. And then Kat's like, none of us can trust him. None of us, we don't want him, she said, we don't want him on our boat. I'm all over the place. Look, I got notes everywhere. I can't even think straight. So, yeah, they want him to go because we can't trust him. You shouldn't be pulling this shit on your partners. Okay, let's get back to some kind of a semblance on these notes because I'm all over the place. Alex does go talk to Bailey and she's like, and that's another thing. They're supposed to be like the best of friends on here and she didn't say anything. She didn't say anything because she saw like, she's also friends with Jeremy, but she saw like how good everything was going with Bailey and Jeremy, and she didn't want that to be screwed up. That's still I don't think that's an excuse. I still don't think that's an excuse at all, because you need to know all this stuff, because that's a red flag. That is a red flag if your boyfriend is wishing he gave his rose to someone else and he would propose to this other woman, and you think you're gonna be able to build life with that? I'm all over the place. Where are my notes? Okay, so day 14. In the light of day, Jeremy is now regretting the fact that like how he handled this whole Susie situation. So now he's in like damage control. He pulls Bailey aside, he talks to her. She's like, I packed, but I don't know if I want to go. Listen, she's not saying who told her this information about Jeremy. It should be really easy for Jeremy to figure this out because Brian is the one who sent her a secret rendezvous note. And now we find out later, like, Brian isn't really talking to Jeremy that much when supposedly they're like the best of bros. They're like best buds on the beach. It should be easy to figure it out. But I swear to goodness, I thought I heard her say that the girls told her what was going on. And she says, I swear she says something like, the girls told me that you said you would propose to Susie if she was here. And he lied and he said, no, I didn't say that. He did say that. But she's like, she likes him so much. They've come so far. She's going to give him grace. She forgives him. And everything is okay. Kat then talks to Bailey and is like, hey, who told you all this stuff who told you this stuff about Jeremy? And she's like, I'm not going to say. And she's like, I'm just asking because the men are thinking that one of us women told you about this. Dale talks to Brian about it. I think he's getting a little sus about Brian being the one who told him. So now it's really out there. Everybody's really talking about it. He's the lobster in the pot that's fighting to get out. And Parisa pulls him aside and is like, hey, listen, everybody's talking. Maybe you should talk to Jeremy and just put this to bed. So he pulls Jeremy aside, tells him comes clean. And he's like, listen, if this was such an important message for you, if it was so important for you, then you should have come to me first. And that's what everybody was saying. Everybody's like, well, you should have went to Jeremy first and told him to talk to Bailey. But as you see, there were at least 2 people that told Jeremy you need to talk to Bailey, and Jeremy didn't talk to Bailey. So am I crazy? I am. I must be going a little loco because I'm actually siding with Brian this episode. Okay, so, and he's like, listen, you don't have any business in our relationship. You're not in this relationship. You don't have any business in it. They part ways, and off camera, Jeremy's like, we need to send him home. He needs to be gone. And everybody else is kind of feeling that way too. So when the rose ceremony comes, listen, I'm not going to go over who everybody picked because the usuals picked everybody. Jonathan, Leah, Spencer, Jess, Kat, Dale, on and on. The same people, Andrew, Alex, Alicia, Sean. Okay, so then we come down to the final 3. Who's it going to be? Okay, so Keith gets a rose. So Kathy is still there. Comes down to Brian and Captain Robot Kim. Okay, so I was not 100% shocked. I was not super shocked. I was maybe a little surprised because during the voting, it looked like there were a lot of people picking up Brian's chip to put in to be eliminated. But as it turns out, it was Robot Captain Kim and Faith. And 2 of the women who voted, Jess and Bailey, had said that they were worried about his heart. They wanted him to go home and get the care that he needs at home. I completely agree with that. That makes total sense. So Brian and Parisa live another day, and listen, they're not going down without a fight. So next week, it looks like the women have the roses. The winner, I don't know what the winner gets, but they are voting off 2 women. Guaranteed, one of the women is going to be Kathy. They're going to be gone, and there's 2 different kinds of strategies. There is either let's vote off a couple that is weaker, that has just a friendship like Jonathan and Leah, but then there's others who are like, I think it was Leah and Jonathan who were like, we need to get them to focus on the stronger couples like Jess and Spencer. Sean backs that, and Sean is like, yes, I think we should get rid of the stronger couples, which, if we're being completely honest, that would make sense. I mean, it kind of would. However, if you're talking about strong couples as far as knowing each other, the ones that obviously know each other the best are Leah and Jonathan, the ones who are friends. So, I don't know. We'll see. This is bringing a lot of drama in. However, I kind of miss, I mean, I like the drama. However, I miss like the romance. And I miss the jankiness of the beach. Like, I miss the crickety janky steps. You know, like, I don't know. So in the comments, let me tell you. In the comments, tell me what you thought of this week. And if nobody told you yet today, you were loved, seen, and heard. Please make sure that you put love, kindness, compassion, acceptance, hope, and positivity out there in the world. So it comes right back at you. Please take care of one another. And remember, kindness is free. Always be aware of your surroundings. Be smart and safe. Let's hydrate with some water. And if you're in a dangerous situation, please know that Dolly and I are sending out our love, thoughts, prayers, and positive energy so you can make it through. Tomorrow, you will be getting a video from me. I'm going to be talking about the first episode of a sorority mom's guide to Rush. That premiered on Lifetime last night. So I will be talking about it tomorrow. All right, everybody, have a great day. Love you, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, guys. Bye.